Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome y'all to a new special edition. Let Me Say This presents the Elephant in the Room podcast. This is our college football podcast. As you see by the name, it's centered around Alabama mostly, but we will be covering all college sports. And since it's the football season, you know, the favorite sport in the country, we're going to start with college football. And we got a special guest, not even a special guest, a new member of the Let Me Say This family, brother from the same mother, Mr. Cornelius Fenderson. How you feeling? Welcome along.
Thank you. I'm feeling good.
I like it. Keep going, man.
Hey, man. You know, hey, we gonna work on that. We gonna work on that. Yeah, he's a man of few words in actuality, but we got to get that out of him, man. But hey, we gonna keep on rolling. So how you guys? Hey, 2025 college football season was underway with a week 0 matchup, as we saw Iowa State take on Kansas State. But I want to just kind of shift gears and like, what do you guys think the outlook of the season is going to be as far as, you know, what with these marquee matchups that's going on in week 1? We see the SEC is moving on from an 8-game schedule going to a 9-game schedule. We see what that's doing with future games against other opponents across the country. And then we see, you know, everybody's favorite topic, the college football playoff expansion. But like, what do we see this season in particular? What do we see? What's the outlook on this season?
I see another expansion on the way for sure. I don't think 12 is where this ends. I think 16 is probably going to be the sweet spot. I think 12 really worked out last year. I think it was fun to see a few more. I don't even feel like they were higher stakes. You know, they didn't really feel like it watching them. You know, we knew that they were, but they were still pretty even paced as far as until the national championship. But I think what do we come away as far as Alabama is concerned? What did we come away with? 9 wins last year.
9-4.
9-4. I expect nothing less than a 10-win season at this point in DeBoer's second year. I still had the same prediction. Actually, I mean, I'll go ahead and say it. I text you and told you, like, I really do secretly think that Alabama has a national championship team on paper and on the field. It'll be interesting to see. I think it's all in accordance to DeBoer, how he adjusts throughout the season. I think we got a lot better from the portal. I think Ty Simpson is the guy for the job this year. I think Keelan is somebody we need to keep our eyes and our ears on at all times as far as his development. I don't even know for sure that he's going to see a lot of playing time, but our receiving core is a lot better. We brought back a lot of defensive starters. We got another good defensive line and a good running back room. We don't have a great running back. We got a good running back room. And so I think from top to bottom, we got a really competitive team. Maybe not the money hungry or happy teams like Oregon, Ohio State, and Texas, but I see good things on the horizon.
Even the LSU with a near $20 million roster. But yeah, I'm going to echo, even with the injuries earlier right now, some key guys going to be out this first game, like a Tim Keenan, Jaden Roberts, Jam Miller, who I think was slated to probably have a breakout season up until that injury. And because the running game, I feel like with the quarterback we got now, the running game is going to be a threat. It's not going to be, hey, we're going to stack the box and dare the quarterback to just beat us with his arm. So I do feel as far as offensively, we will get some juice back on offense. But defensively, you know, the defense is the strong point of the team. Returning 9 of 11 starters. So I will say, I think the defense is probably going to be one of the best defense in the country, if not the best. A top 5 defense at the worst. As far as the offense, we will see. But as far as Ty Simpson, like I said, I know we specifically keeping it on this season. Like, what do we see him at? Like, what's his ceiling? Do you think his ceiling, he could be sitting in New York collecting hardware, winning a Heisman Trophy? Or is just, hey, he's going to be a great quarterback and then one and done at Bama? Like, so what do we see for Ty Simpson this year?
Go ahead, fam.
I think he'll do 2 seasons at Bama. This year, I think he'll have a good season. as long as he don't turn the ball over, he's really in control of the team. Because last year, we can recall, all 4 of Bama's losses came on the offense. What I mean by that, the offense had turnovers. Let's go back to Vanderbilt. Had a pick 6. They had another interception. Let's go back to Tennessee. Had some turnovers there. Let's go to
a fumble.
Oklahoma.
Interception. I'm sorry. In the Tennessee game, an interception in the end zone, right?
Yeah, in the end zone.
And that was, I think, I'm sorry, that one was a pick 6, was it not?
No, they returned it out the end zone, but they didn't get nowhere.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just an interception.
And then
Vanderbilt was the pick 6.
Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken, they had 1 or 2 pick 6s.
They had one, got down to like the 1 yard line, and they scored the pick 6.
And then I think a fumble in that game too.
And Michigan, they just didn't show up to play.
No.
So if Ty Simpson can come out, manage the offense, and minimize the turnovers, I think Bama will go all the way. So it's really going to be on Ty Simpson. The defense going to be there. If Ty Simpson can man the offense, control it, be the general, I don't see nobody beating Bama.
Okay, I can deal with it. And that's kind of my thing too. Like I said, we won with Greg McElroy's. Even John Parker Wilson was able to get it done with his last year at Bama. AJ McCarron, even though like that's my favorite QB at Bama of all time. Jake Coker, we was able to get it done with guys like that. And as far as like athletic quarterbacks with Blake Sims, even 2 years of Jalen Hurts, like I'm no knock on Milroe, and I'm always say it,
right.
But like I take the 2 years of Jalen Hurts over the 2 years of Milroe. But the fundamental difference was when things hit the fan, we could count on at least Jalen to get out of there. Even though Hurts would get out of there prematurely, Milroe would just kind of sit back there and try to prove to people that, hey, I can be a pocket passer. I can be a pocket passer instead of just using his gifts, which is his legs, as we've seen, with all these quarterbacks, with that archetype of quarterbacks. We see a guy in the NFL right now that's struggling, but that's what pretty much got him drafted. Like him being able to just, quote unquote, being a dual threat quarterback. And I want to kind of specifically keep it SEC. And I know we, said this is still a Bama podcast, but like I want to bivvy out to another SEC team, and the Texas Longhorns, their second year in the SEC, coming off a heartbreaking semifinal loss and basically getting a chance to rematch that said team that they lost to. What's the outlook for Texas this season? Arch Manning, his first year starting, they already saying, hey, he's not leaving after this year, allegedly. So what do we see Texas at this year?
I'm about to spoil it because 3 of my predictions for this season are around Texas. I have Texas as the national champions. I have Texas versus Ohio State in the national championship, and I got Arch Manning as this year's Heisman. So as far as the outlook on this season, you just got my answer in a few short words. So I don't really expect
pretty much that's pretty much a
clean sweep.
Yeah,
clean sweep. Yeah.
And that's like a national. That's pretty much a that's a generality. I think that's what a consensus prediction. I could kind of see all those 3 things happening.
Yeah,
and I
because and the reason I say that is because with the NIL, with the money that's involved with college football, like we talk about franchises. We talk about franchises in a 4-year window. Franchises in the NFL probably use around a 4 to 6 year window realistically, but franchises in college use that whole 4-year window because they have guys from year 1 to year 4 that can make an impact on that team. It's just what window do certain players match up in to make that happen. Arch Manning just sat down for 2 years with no rush to get on the field whatsoever. I think he's athletically inclined. I think he's talented, gifted. I think he's probably one of the best prospects that we'll ever see. I hope that's not a freezing cold take one day. But as far as for this season, I got high expectations for him, probably because I want him to become a Saint one day. But nonetheless, Steve Sarkisian has something really, really good going on down there in Texas. Went to the game last year, Texas versus Arizona State. Arizona State put up a fight, but that's a resilient Texas team. They got the defense necessary to go through this gauntlet once again. They haven't yet to appear in the SEC championship game in the least, but people are crowning them SEC champions. I think this is the year that Texas puts it all the way all together. I think I still don't think that a SEC championship is in the cards for them this year, but I do think that they still get into the playoffs, and I still think they run the table on them.
I think
whoever they lose to, whether it be Georgia or Alabama, that they lose to in the SEC championship is who they'll be either in the national championship or before the national championship.
Yeah, I will say too, a team to watch out on their schedule because we playing the same schedule as all teams playing the same schedule as last season. Florida Gators teams who finished the season hot. You know, they got that upset win over Ole Miss, went on to do great things in the bowl game and finished it. Now I think so, and they got to go to the Swamp this year. They got to go to Athens and play Georgia again. So I know you said you predicted a national champion, but I can see them having 2 losses before we even make it to postseason play. With those games, like I said, I know they still got the same favorable SEC schedule as last season, but a lot of teams got better, and a lot of teams, gonna still stay the same. Like a Georgia, we expect them to do what they always do. Florida, I think they got better, and all the other teams in the middle of the road SEC teams that are always gonna stay competitive, like a Arkansas, even a Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt gave them a good run, so I can see them having 2 losses. But brother Finn, like, what do you think? What do you see the Longhorns at as far as the 2025 season?
I think this they make or break season, and the reason why you had the talent past 2 years and you came close. So now you coming on year 3. Now you're gonna have Arch, who's been waiting 2 years. You got a defense. If they don't make no noise this year, I don't think that they'll be able to be on the top of college football.
You think that'll come down? I mean, I think all fingers are going to point to Sark. That's rhetorical. But do you think ultimately everybody going to be kind of looking at Sark a little different? Like, hey, you in Texas with an unlimited budget. Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. So okay.
So that's why I say this will make or break. This year 3. Now you in the same spot each year. You ain't got no belt.
Yeah.
So if you coming up short at the same spot every year, what you doing wrong?
And I think that judgment was passed last year after some of the transfer signings that they got, especially from us as Bama fans. Like, we were really critical of it when Bun ended up there, and I think we were critical of it because of the same way that we were critical of Caleb Downs, even though it worked out in his situation, and I think it would work out long term in his favor. But we were critical of the Bun situation because the slate is clean. We were ready to put you in the top 1 spot, and
even though we had a guy, we had a 17-year-old coming in, but you still was going to be anointed as that guy.
He was going to be number 1.
You still be number 1.
So, after the spending that they did last year, the spending that we know that they do on incoming freshmen, the spending that they definitely show and portray in the portal. I mean, look at what their in-state rival just did. Well, not even really direct rival, but their in-state rival just went and spent a ton of money to even be competitive this year in Texas Tech.
Tech,
yeah. I mean, okay. So, to Finn's point, that drives the point home even more. Look at what Texas Tech just did, and they're in Lubbock. They are not the burnt orange. They're the black and red. They're the
not
Raiders.
Even the Aggies. Not even the Aggies. Yeah.
They're not even talking about Texas A&M. Not even talking about Oklahoma. But it's really make or break, for sure. I mean, if you're gonna spend that money, you're gonna keep having that money, so it's not gonna be a problem. But now what's going to start happening is you start in recruiting, you start becoming confused about who's really good and who's trying to get the money from us. Because you really, I don't know. I mean, Bond, I love him to death, but that was a good example. Unfortunately, his situation led to him being undrafted. But even as a drafted, that's one that we kept up with from Alabama. Even as a drafted prospect, he probably would have been 5th, 6th round. He didn't get better.
Yeah, I was thinking day 2 at the best for him, and day 3. And I know he was injured and the numbers dropped, but it's just like, Bun, you could have stayed at Bama and still put up them numbers, and maybe even more with a guy with a scheme like that. But it is what it is. It's water under the bridge now, and still keeping it. Well, let's flip it over to the other side. We got to keep SEC. So what do we see? Ohio State, defending champ. Ohio State was the first team to win the 4-team playoff when we expanded to the 4-team, and now they're the first team to win the new expansion 12-team, all 10 years apart, ironically. So, like, what do we see with Ohio State? New quarterback, a guy that originally committed to Bama, but when Nick Saban retired, he transferred to Ohio State. We just talked about Caleb Downs, and we all know the best receiver in the country. I will crown him as Jeremiah Smith. So what do we see with Ohio State?
Go ahead, Finn, because I know what I want to say.
I think they'll be good. That game between them and Texas, that'll really set the tone for their season. They come out and dominate, and we pretty much know what they're gonna be about. If they go out, they get whooped or struggle, then it's gonna be kind of shaky. But
Now,
Jeremiah Smith, yeah, he is that guy at receiver.
Baby Julio. Now I will say Ohio State, like their openers, if you can look it up, we don't know who they've really played. Like usually they first three games of the season.
Youngstown State, Buffalo,
Akron, like Ohio
crazy.
Bobcats. So yeah, like now you got to measure. You got the number one team in the country coming on the road. National game, big new kickoff. So it's a game of the week. Game day gonna be there. Lee Corso final game day, all that good stuff. So it's just like, hey, this is a measuring stick. And also, yeah, you won the championship, but your biggest rival, that team up north, has beaten y'all 4 years in a row. So, and like I said, y'all got the gold, but like Michigan, that was a down year for them. And Michigan has got the number one recruit starting as a true freshman. So it's just like, I know we talking about Texas, which I honestly think Ohio State will win that game, but you still got Oregon, even a Penn State. They still got to deal with them teams in the Big Ten. So usually Ohio State usually has a 2-game schedule before the expansion. Their 2 biggest games was Penn State and Michigan. But now it's like, okay, you got like 4 big games now. You got Oregon, you got Michigan, you got Texas, and now Penn State. So, hey, if y'all can at least win 3 of those, at least win 3 out of those 4, y'all will be sitting pretty for the Big Ten. And, of course, I do expect them to be in a 12-team playoff. Like, you're not going to leave Ohio State out of a 12-team playoff. So, like I said, I think they win that opener, but I can see them at least with 1 loss before postseason play. And we can move on from that and jump into
that 1 loss that you're talking about is going to be that one.
You think they're going to lose to Texas?
Yeah, that's why that's why I wanted to point out, that's why I said that I think they'll meet again in the championship, is because I think that the way that Ohio State's scheduling in their conference, unfortunately, they got a little bit better at them. Yeah. Ohio State, Penn State's got a little better. I still don't see a reason that after this week 1 game where Arch is the more experienced of the 2 between them and Julian, and I know you're trying to move on, but Arch is the more experienced of the 2. I think this is where the start of his stardom begins. I think this is where, boom, last year we saw Texas go on the road against Michigan in a big noon game to start the season. I think Texas is Sarkisian is trying to show I can go and play against these teams that I think I'm going to end up seeing later on down the road. I think Ohio State, he knows I'll very likely see them again by the end of the season. They still got the defense to do the job. They still got number 4 out there split out wide. I think 4 overall probably has the second, if not the best season that we've seen since Smitty. If that happens, then my prediction about who's walking away from New York with a trophy is blown.
We might see a receiver. I mean, we're going to see at least 1 there. We can even throw Cam Coleman in the mix, but, that's a little bit too much, pushing it a little too much. But we're going to see at least 1 receiver in New York.
Yeah, but I think, like I said, for my prediction for the national championship, I think it'll be the same as the opener. And it's going to be really wild to see, but that's just my burning hot take. I really think that both of those teams are talented in their own ways, in their own respect, especially defensively. I think it's going to take some time for Julian to come along, but I think after a opening loss in the horseshoe for Ohio State, I think Ryan Day will right the ship. Maybe they'll go into postseason with 2 losses too. If they don't beat the team up north for a 5th time, man, it's going to get really, really scary in that locker room. But I think this will be the year they'll go ahead and take that win back. And then from there, we'll see what happens.
Do we think Texas might have like I said, I already said they might lose a couple games along the way. But if they don't, if Texas run the slate then I can see them just going undefeated all the way. And like I said, I want to keep it. I said keep it LSU. Well, now we know what I'm talking about. Keep it. Go back to the SEC and talk about LSU versus Clemson. Now I know you said Texas has a make or break. We're ending year 4 under Brian Kelly. Like, and Dre knows how I like to talk about Brian Kelly. You know, he's a good coach in my opinion, but I don't think he's one of those great or elite coaches. He can win you a bunch of games, but when it comes to that national stage, and we saw when he was at Notre Dame what happened. And then you come down here thinking you can do that. Like you can still win the games in the SEC, but you still losing marquee games. Like they haven't won an opener in I don't know how long. And now you're going to go into what Clemson likes to call as Death Valley as well. And they having a little poll talking about who's the real Death Valley, LSU or Clemson. That's a big game for Brian Kelly. LSU spent money on this roster. They got a quarterback who could also be a top prospect in next year's draft, and Garrett Nussmeier. What do we see from the LSU Tigers this year? I know you called Texas a make or break. I really think this is a make or break year for LSU as well. So that's my piece. But what do you got? What do I feel about you guys?
Yeah, if they do the same thing they did last year, they might want to look somewhere else. That's all I got to say about them.
That's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of Brian
money. Brian Kelly will not have a job by the end of the season. Yeah. I think, first of all, you lost out on Bryce Underwood. How you lost that, I don't even know. I mean, I know you still got Garrett, which you asked what was the ceiling for Ty Simpson. And I was thinking like, okay, somewhere between Burrow, Garrett Nussmeier, Jake Coker level to the lowest that he could get is Greg McElroy. You know, so Garrett Nussmeier, I'm really high on. Anytime I'm high on a LSU quarterback, usually they perform pretty well. Last time I was high on a LSU quarterback was with Joe Burrow.
I mean, we kind of knew he had it though with Joey B. Yeah.
I knew when he transferred to LSU, I knew they knew what they had.
Yeah, we was in trouble, man. I already knew we was in trouble. It's just a matter of time.
Garrett, I think, is going to give us a Bo Nix vibe this year. You know, a Bo Nix Auburn vibe, where it's like you're going to turn on the TV a lot of nights and you just want to see what 18's doing. Because at some point, they do anticipate that 18 is going to end up in New York. But nonetheless, he's a very nice player. I don't think that they have all the pieces. They have a lot of really good pieces.
They got a good receiver, like steady receiver core, a quality receiver core, good running back.
Between last year and this upcoming year, Brian Kelly has, recruiting wise, you ain't watching. He's down there working, but I just think as a coach, I don't think he's gonna have a job after this year.
Yeah, I think he loses
or not a job in Louisiana.
Yeah, the crucial situation. I think that's where that's where his teams tend to, it's like, the crucial situation for them. They just, it seems like they kind of lose an edge or a focus when it comes to that regard. And on the flip side, the Clemson Tigers or the ACC, Dabo slowly but surely is now adapting to modern college football. They got one of the better rosters. They also have a top NFL potential prospect quarterback in Cade Klubnik. So like, what do we see from Clemson? Like, the ACC is the ACC, but it's still a Power 4 conference. So they can. I made a prediction on some YouTuber's channel. He basically outlined every ACC team. I like Clemson at 11-1, but I was like, I won't be surprised if they run the table and go 12-0. I will, honestly, because LSU's track record in these recent season openers, they haven't won one in I don't know how long. Maybe when Joe Burrow was a quarterback. I will just give the edge to Clemson. A night game in Death Valley. I think with that quarterback that they have, and they have a pretty good defense. But after that game, what do we see Clemson?
I see him going undefeated in the ACC. I don't really see nobody stop
him. It ain't nobody that's gonna stop him. With TJ Parker and Peter Woods on the field on defense, it ain't nobody that's gonna stop them boys. And Cade is gonna do, he gonna do the job. He gonna do the job. They got some really talented receivers too. And no, they
I
got
know
talent all
Resco,
over the field.
Wesco. Yeah, I know they got Resco out there. Yeah.
They got talent all over that field. They got talent at the freshman level. They got a 5-star freshman linebacker and defensive tackle. You know what I'm saying? Like they got a linebacker that is from Georgia that is like 6'3", 220 something. I
Yeah.
cannot think of his name right now, but guys from Georgia.
They got
He didn't.
Jeremiah Alexander too.
Yeah,
for
and
Bama.
they have Jeremiah Alexander. You know what I'm saying? They got guys on this team that can fly across the field, that are athletic, that are smart, man. So, yeah, the ACC is theirs to lose. There's and Bill Belichick just gonna watch them pass him right
Oh
on
yeah,
up
no
to.
man, I ain't even worried
Yeah,
about no
he
North
ain't got
Carolina.
nothing just yet.
But I'm just glad to see Dabo has finally kind of got out of his ways a little bit and be like, hey man, okay, now if I want to continue to compete at a national level and not just fall back down to mediocrity and be
I gotta spend that money.
yeah, we instead of being like, because you win 2 champions with a program, then they expect y'all to still compete for championships. They don't want to see the Tommy Bound era of we just happy we win 9-10 games. They don't want to go back through that again after winning 2 championships. So it's just like, yeah, we keep bringing in this talent and keep on being great. And then probably one of my least favorite teams in college football, Notre Dame Fighting Irish taking on the Miami Hurricanes. 2 teams there. Miami losing Cam Ward to the draft, and Notre Dame, they lost Riley Leonard with his 1 year, but they still got Jeremiah Love, the running back. They're going to have a solid run game. I do like Marcus Freeman as a coach, but it's just he coaches for the wrong team. The Notre Dame are like my Dallas Cowboys. I can't stand them. But reasons being, one of the reasons I can't stand them because it's like they never align with a true conference. But I know money plays a part of them not being in the conference with that TV deal they got with NBC. So I do understand it in that regard because they get all that money to themselves. But what do we see? Who do you think is the winner? Who do we think the winner of this game is? And yeah, Carson Beck in a big game.
Notre Dame.
Thank you. I was about to
He
say
ain't
not
Notre Dame. That's all. Notre Dame. That's it.
because
I mean, it's 2 frauds playing each other, man. I mean,
so are we calling Notre Dame's championship run last year a fluke? Since you call them a fraud, because they played Boise State they played Indiana in the first round, Boise State in the second round.
Boise State don't have a running back.
No, they played Georgia. Yeah. They played Georgia in the second round with Gunnar Stockton. So yeah, so you kind of call. Okay.
And Boise State only had a running back. You stop him, you win.
No, Boise State played Penn State. Boise State played Penn State. That's my bad. That's my mess up. They played Indiana when they coach out here talking about SEC scheduling. Like, buddy, relax. Y'all just got back. Like, relax, buddy. But
they had a Mickey Mouse run, man. But it was nice though. I appreciate Marcus Freeman for what he do for college football.
Yeah, but the thing about and that's what the 12-team playoffs is for. It's for teams like a Ole Miss, a Penn State, a Notre Dame, and a Miami. Yeah, you're good.
That's the point.
But we don't trust y'all. We don't trust y'all to put y'all over Alabama or put y'all over Ohio State. Put y'all over Georgia.
Yeah.
So that's
really the point overall of the 12. And that's why I started the episode off by saying like we going to 16. Like. Did you see some of the teams that just got in? Like SMU just got in. Indiana just got in. Did they get whooped? Yes. Was everybody from those fan bases and as fans, were we happy to at least see them get an opportunity to be there? Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Because
for sure.
Because what I felt like, all right, cool. Like you said, the Indiana coach talking shit about the scheduling of SEC. Okay, you talking shit about it. You get to match up with somebody that we trying to play every year.
Mm-hmm.
You get your ass whooped. Go back to where you came from and try to fix that shit before you come over here and tell us like what we doing is wrong.
Hey man, we on air, right? No, I'm just messing with you. But yeah. No, I got you. But no, yeah. That's what I like. And then you try to say everywhere I went, I win. Man, I mean, it's easy to say that about James Madison, but what I always say about what I used to like to always say, the best thing about doing stuff like that is you get to go back out and validate it. So now this is your chance to be like, okay, yeah, nah, that wasn't a mistake. Even if y'all don't win the amount of games that y'all win, even if y'all go out there and win 10 games, if SCU comes out this year and goes, I say 10-2, and hopefully be amongst the 12 teams and don't get snubbed. You get it. You still go, okay.
They
It
gonna get
wasn't a
their
fluke.
ass whooped again.
Yeah, yeah.
Then
all
get
over
whooped again.
again, all over again. And that's why I said it like that. Like, I agree. I am so grateful that, like, because SMU is in the American Conference, right?
ACC now. They in the ACC.
Okay.
now.
ACC. All right, cool. Let's say that they lose two games.
They play TCU. I can see them losing
one
to TCU.
one non-conference, one conference game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, they do what they're supposed to do. They lose 2 games. If Ole Miss lost 2 games in the SEC, we would say that they qualify, yes or no?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, again, boom, all right, Ole Miss and SMU now can match up in the playoffs. Time always
taking Lane Kiffin. I'm taking Lane Kiffin.
every time.
Without a question. It ain't even
Got
about being SEC bias. I'm taking Lane
It's
Kiffin.
just Lane.
Yeah, and that's what I like about the 12 team. That's why I said like 16.
And then, but the thing about, and then I know, because I like, and you know what I'm saying, I don't want to like kind of rag on the Big Ten, but in the Big Ten, this is really the Big Ten who's front and heavy beating their chest as far as expansion, because their biggest fear is half the field belonging to the SEC. They don't want to see that.
Though.
They don't want to see that. Yeah,
it's still on the way, and that's what's so crazy is Greg Sankey just went and said, "All right, like y'all still trying to find ways not to put all my teams in this playoff, and I'm finna show y'all. All right, matter of fact, we gonna go with all SEC, no matter what. So when we do that, it's like, okay, you can't get around saying that we did everything that even a 3-loss team in the SEC next year is gonna look like the same as anybody else.
Yeah.
So, nah, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a 3-loss team in a 16-team playoff the first year. That's it from the SEC. That's gonna still be a 1 or no loss team that do not belong there.
I will say what I am most happy about, like, I don't really care, like, well, expansion is cool. What I really care about is they took away them automatic first round buys for conference champions. Like, wherever you fall, even if you can win you can win your conference being the number 12, and guess what? You got to go on the road, and you might have to go to an environment that you're not used to playing in. You could be a team that ain't even playing a conference game, but you sitting right at number 3, and guess what? You get a chance to get that first round bye. So wherever you fall, that's where you at. So it's just like, I will say that is one of the biggest things, because that automatic bye week, because you win the Big 12 or you win the ACC, like, come on, Arizona State, whom we didn't get a chance to get to. That's another team that we got to look out for. Arizona State getting the first round bye just because they won the week Big 12. Like, come on, man. And I hate to sound like this because I'm supposed to not have a bias or not have a strong opinion, but facts are the facts. It is what it is. Like, them guys can compete, but when it comes to a national stage, even though I think referees kind of decided the outcome between Texas and Arizona State, but that's neither here nor there. I think they had a chance to go to the semifinal, but hey, it is what it is. But yeah, so
in overtime, definitely had a chance.
But yeah, I will say, I think because they got to December to decide for moving forward with the expansion, so I think by December, we will. Breaking news: ESPN College Football Playoff will be expanded to 16 teams, 2026, and be like, and then they gonna do it on a 2-year basis. They be like, every 2 years we gonna go back and measure, but
where we need to be. But I think 16 is where they go.
Yeah, because like now we just kind of bumping into regular season games. Now it's just like, okay, cool. And then I wonder how they gonna do it. Like, how many like the group of 5? Like, how many group of 5 schools are you gonna put in with 16? Are you gonna get them 3 spots, 2 spots? Yeah, and you're gonna give mainly the SEC and the Big Ten gonna have the most.
You give them 3. Yeah. You know that you're gonna have to give up 5 and 5 at least to SEC and Big Ten, and then the other 3 is just whoever come out, the ACC, the Big 12, and whoever else is just damn good.
I just want to know how would they format it. Like, who gonna get bye week? Will it be a double bye for like the 1 through 5, like the 1 through 4 seed get the double bye, and 5 through 8 just get a bye, a 1 round bye, kind of like the old Big East when they had 16 teams in college basketball. Yeah. I wonder is that how they do it? But do you really want a long layoff like that though? If you one of them 4 teams, You don't really want to go too long without playing no football.
Especially in the cold too.
Yeah, you don't really want to go too long. So that's gonna be interesting to see though, as far as that.
I mean, so the only thing I'll say to that though, okay, is would you not, because that was the same format that they had for the BCS, you had a really long layoff between the conference championship and the national championship if you made it to that game. And that's the only, I'm just throwing it out there
But
as a means of
I
like
got you.
2-week bye.
But the BC, but we knew what the BC, what we already knew. Like, okay, mainly, okay, 9 times out of 10, the teams 1 and 2 gonna end up being in that game. It might be certain scenarios like Alabama, Georgia in the 2012 SEC championship game, a de facto play-in game. The winner of that game basically punched their ticket to the national championship. You might have scenarios like that, but few and far between. But 9 times out of 10, we already knew who was pretty much playing in those games. And I hear what you're saying, but we already knew how that format was. They weren't gonna move it up, you know what I'm saying? So they kind of just kept that. But with this, you got the SEC championship games. The conference championship games. You got the selection show the next day, and then about 2 weeks later, you playing a game, depending on if you 5 through 12, and then from that. So either way it goes, it seems like it's still, basically what I say, it's still gonna be some type of a layoff.
Yeah,
but I feel like a team like not even the NFL. Well, NFL only got 14 teams. Not even NFL has a double bye. So like, if you have a double bye, I feel like one of those teams. If you need to get healthy, team. Cool. But yeah, like you don't want to. But I feel like
you do not want to run into a blazing hot team.
It serves as a disadvantage. I think it serves more as a disadvantage for a double bye than it does an advantage. Especially if you on a roll. Like just imagine you lose like a game early in the season or something like that. Then you just finish strong. Now you got to sit because you made it to one of the top 4 spots. Like you don't want to cool your momentum off. Versus now you got a team that kind of started slow, but they finished hot and they blazing. They run it through everybody, and now you got to see them.
I'm willing to bet that that's the way we having this discussion about it now. I'm willing to bet that's
how they sit in their room. Yeah, double bye, because you can't do double elimination. This ain't 7-on-7.
I mean, because you know what I'm saying. Like you gotta look at it from the perspective of okay, you put in 3 Power 5 teams, right? Tulane goes on a run to end the season. They go 6 straight. They win the conference. They come into the playoffs. Boom, they knock off Indiana first round, right? Like somebody that's mid-tier in the Big Ten. Boom, they move on to the next round. Now they playing somebody 5 through 8. They play Oklahoma. All right. Boom, they go to Oklahoma. Now they boom. Now we got Ohio State versus Tulane. And even though on paper it's still supposed to be a 35-point game like that, I just know as like a committee member, you can't look at that and say, okay, that like it's possible, but I don't know. I think that's the route they're gonna end up going.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the easiest option for now, and let it play out. But then, like, if you start seeing your blue bloods get falling off, and then you might get some teams that be like, you might get them teams, them coaches like, hey man, we don't want to have that long of a layoff. Like,
kind of like March Madness sometimes. For a couple years there.
We just do 116. Everybody just play it opening week. 116, 215, and all down the ladder, and then what? The 8, you know what I'm saying? Then the next round will be 1 versus 8 or 9, and then so on and so forth until we get to the Final Four, basically. But yeah, so that is also an option. But like, when are they gonna play them games? Because you're probably gonna start.
Because you got to play them back to back.
Yeah, you're gonna have conference championship week, the selection show, and then 2 weeks later you're gonna start that. So with the 16 teams, it's definitely probably gonna bleed into like we're gonna have NFL and college football playoffs going at the same time. It's good for fans, great for fans, but it's just what are we gonna do? Because even the NFL talking about, this is a college show, but NFL talking about adding an extra game, and they talk about, hey, our opening season might be around Labor Day weekend. Like, I love NFL. I'm always watching, but it's like, come on, Labor Day weekend. That's college time, man. Like, let college football have they shine for Labor Day weekend. So this is the best weekend. It's like Christmas in the fall. So that's pretty much all I got in that. And I think we pretty much covered. I mean, anybody got any prediction they want to make for like a score for the Bama game? And I'll go Alabama. I'll go 34-17. Nothing too crazy.
28-10.
I'm gonna go 31-7.
Oh, you going with a sheesh. All right.
I don't see Florida State. I think Bama start out slow because they're on the road, got a new quarterback, but once they get everything in
It's going. And that's why I'm saying 28-10, because my 28-10 is like a 7-7 and then a 21 unanswered, and in the game with Florida State getting the field goal, it's like, all right, cool. The defense showed
Still
up.
don't cover that spread. I'm gonna just be like, I said 34-17 because a late doesn't matter touchdown with about 4-5 minutes left. It is what it is. And I think Ty Sensor probably goes for I think he completes. I think he goes like 20 of 27 for about 275, 280, couple touchdowns. And that's pretty much all I got. I did have something, but I forgot because I got kind of caught in the mist. Oh, Florida State, another team. I mean, Mike Norvell, but it kind of depends on the transfer portal a little bit. A lot. He doesn't have no type of stability. That's like when you get snubbed from the playoff 2 years ago. You don't have that's not a winning mindset. That's not a winning culture. Alabama gets snubbed from the playoffs the year before, and look what they do. They rally. They best players play in that Sugar Bowl, and they dominate Kansas State. That's a winning culture. They don't have that in Florida State, and you can tell just by that. You can tell. And then look how they followed up. And like I said, the best thing I said, you can go out and validate what you did the year before. And they invalidated the hell out of themselves with that 2-10. So Mike Norvell is another coach. The seat is on fire. It is blazing hot. So I'm pretty sure y'all ain't got too much to say about Florida State because the joke write themselves sometimes with them. Yeah, so
6 wins.
What about little brother? I mean, I'll be going to their game this Friday when they take on Baylor. What about little bro Auburn? No, the facts are the facts. The facts are the facts.
I don't hate to say it. I don't hate to say it. I don't hate to say it, man. I am a very undercover Auburn fan by default. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a huge Alabama fan, but I'm a even bigger fan of Auburn and what they do because they are so good for the culture, man. Like, they got some talent down there, and they just upgraded the stadium.
Nike sponsorship.
And Bama got to go back down there this year. And I would love to make a third trip down there to another Iron Bowl because every one that I've been to in on the plains has been special. And boy, I think somewhere between Jackson and Deuce, you know, they're gonna have to find their footing, which way they want to go. I told somebody the other day, I think Jackson starts 1 through 6, Deuce comes in for 6 through 8, and then Jackson gets the job back to end the season. I think Deuce is gonna be nice, but I don't think this is his year. And I don't even want to just like Keelan. It's just no point.
Yeah, no, we ain't finna throw you out there yet.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's no point. You have Cam Coleman for at least another year. Mm-hmm. You have Perry Thompson for at least another year. You got Jeremiah Cobb for another year. You got Keldrick Faulk for another year. His little brother just came to the team. That I think they got a little bit in the transfer portal too. Like, it's stuff that, you know, like they're not recruiting well right now, but that's not. I think there's a lot of doubt.
It's all long term. It's all long term with Auburn.
It's a lot of doubt on the Plains, but one thing about the Plains, they always come through. They always find a way to come through. And like Finn said, the history says that as long as they have a great quarterback, not a good, a great quarterback, they're gonna be all right. The most important fact about Jackson Arnold is the team that he beat last year. So
Jalen Milroe did more to lose that game than he did to win it, but that's just me.
I understand, but
he gonna get the credit. But he gonna get the credit because he was the quarterback on the other side.
But Johnny Manziel, Cam Newton, who else we talking about? Tim Tebow. Who else made a name? Nick Marshall.
Joe Burrow.
Who else? Joe Burrow. Who else made a name?
Deshaun Watson. Hell, even Cardale Jones with Zeke Elliott.
Cardale Jones got drafted because he beat Alabama. You can say what you want about that entire season, but he got drafted because he beat Alabama. I say that to say
JJ McCarthy, can't forget about got my guy, KOC's guy, J.O.
I say all that to say I don't think that
Baldwin County.
either one of these quarterbacks are going to beat Alabama. I'm going to say that much. I think I'm focused on getting number 5 in a row off Auburn this year. But Auburn going to be a problem. Oh, that's 6?
It'll be 6.
Dang, I'm tripping. All right, cool. We already got 5.
And then everybody's favorite team out west, not the USC Trojans, not UCLA, not even the Oregon Ducks, a little old team in Boulder, prime time. What do we see from Colorado this year? Post Shadur and Travis Hunter. Will we see exposed from Dion because you ain't got these guys here to carry you? Or will we see like he can finally actually be coach and not feel like he got to be dad? Like what do we see from Coach Prime?
4 wins. 4 wins.
Julian Newman. And they lost some guys in the. We actually got a guy. Bama actually got a guy from their team. You saying 4?
4 wins.
I hope not. I sure hope not, because boy, they going. I can't.
4 wins.
If you can't,
I only see 4.
You can't
I only got
win
4 on my slate.
You can't win at least 7 games in the Big 12. This version of the Big 12, Prime, we gonna have a problem. Like
they look at some of the games that they lost.
Yeah,
like with the talent that they had. They lost their bowl game, the most important game of the entire 2 years there. None of the other games mattered. They lost that bowl game with the talent, and
they got curb stomped.
The number 2 pick in the draft played in that game. Nothing changed about that game. Nothing's going to change this year. He got a couple people to buy in to coming, but Boulder is Boulder.
Yeah, I remember when I was out there, it wasn't even nothing to talk about. We used to make them trips to Denver, but now it's Coach Prime got the spotlight on them. I just hope they don't get out to that hot start like they did a couple years ago. Then everybody somehow pop up on the sideline, and then when they got Georgia Tech, they got Georgia Tech their first game. So I say Georgia Tech, even in altitude, I'll give Georgia Tech a touchdown win. I'll say Georgia Tech 31-24. Think so? Well, and they can't block either, so you do have a point. But I say, like I said, I think the altitude kind of keeps them in the game because that's still you gotta have been in that type of environment to know what to go. Like I've been in altitude, and Colorado Springs is farther up above sea level than the Denver and Boulder area. So, but like I said, having that elevation will play a factor for why that game is a little bit closer. So, but I 4 wins. I'm gonna be a little bit. I'll be the hot take artist. I'll go like I said. I'll say 7-5. I'll go 7-5, and we can come back to this video, and I can pump my chest out, or y'all can laugh at my face. But I'm gonna say 7-5. 7-5.
As soon as they get to 6
keeping
losses.
it, and also keeping it West Coast. The USC Trojans. They are also like Texas. They got a big budget. May I add, the government gonna take a lot of it, but they trying to restore. They trying to go back to prominence as well. They in the Big Ten. Lincoln Riley somehow plays only 11 players, which I mean offense. He don't play defense for some reason. But what do we see from USC? They spending money. They trying to keep the recruits in state. They lost out on a Bryce Young. Xavier Young played at USC and transferred to Alabama. Xavier Brown from Cali.
Money Jackson.
I mean, yeah, that's what I meant. The Money Jackson. Yeah, that's what I meant. Xavier Brown is from California and left, so they trying to keep the talent homegrown, kind of like what Miami is trying to do. So, like, what do we see from a USC this year?
Is Reggie Bush about to suit back up?
Them days long gone, man.
Then why are we talking about USC?
so we saying Lincoln Riley might be out the door?
I think he finna become a NFL offensive coordinator. I think that's if I was him, that would be my next step, to just go to the NFL and become a coordinator. Because I mean, you're not gonna get a head coaching job.
Now I will say, if Lincoln Riley, and I'm gonna say this, and then I'll just sign it off with this. I will say, if Lincoln Riley does leave, there's a coach in Oxford, Mississippi, who coached there before. You think they potentially would bring him back for, like, hey man, you know, it was your first time around, you still kind of learning your way. What do we see? What do you think you could bring some of that magic that you got down there in Mississippi and bring it back to Cali? Could we see Lane Kiffin possibly the head coach, the next head coach at USC, if Lincoln Riley is let go? What about a Steve Sarkisian, another coach that was after Lane Kiffin? He had his problems. He battled his demons there. What do we see? Do we potentially see him if Lincoln Riley gets fired? That is a job. That is a job to pay attention to. USC job is
the only person I could really see, and it's gonna sound really crazy, that I could really see going to USC behind Lincoln Riley would be Dan Lannon. Dan Lannon leaving Oregon and going to USC would be a really good move for him, I think. You know what I'm saying? Having even better and more resources in California at his disposal. I think Oregon's a nice place for him.
Oregon is the best. I think Oregon's biggest selling point is Nike. So,
yeah.
Excuse me. And that kind of died down for a little bit after that Marcus Mariota stint. They kind of, with what's his name, Old Taggart, when he was there, they kind of started hitting the decline. But yeah, that USC job is something to pay attention to, like, especially with them two coaches having previously coached there. Because we're seeing a lot. We're seeing a couple reunions this year. We got Rich Rodriguez back at West Virginia, who could have been Bama's next coach. Thank God he wasn't. And we seeing Scott Frost down at UCF. So we're seeing some possible. We could see another reunion in the works if they decide to move in a different direction from Lincoln Riley, depending on how this season go. But this is our first episode of the Elephant in the Room. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe. This is a part of the Let Me Say This family, as we are expanding into different avenues, but still, we will still be bringing you the OG Let Me Say This podcast. That podcast, as y'all know, is more centered around anything professional, NBA, NFL, MLB, and even a little bit of NHL. But, you know, I'm Anthony Likes, also known as Legends Never Die. You got Mr. Dre Davis, Drizzle Gaming, and Big Brother Cornelius Fenderson, and we are out. Thank you guys. Well, I almost hit the wrong button. All right, we out.